What is up, my Eagles family, and welcome back to the channel. We are flying high today because we just locked up the division and sent our rivals packing for the winter. But hold on, because a massive internal decision just dropped from our head coach that is sending shockwaves through the locker room. There is a huge concern regarding a star player who has been a pillar of this team for years, but is currently hitting a career low at the worst possible time. Is a replacement coming before the playoffs, or is the coach making a mistake by sticking with him? I have all the details, and you will not believe the official stance of the organization. Before we get into the breaking report, do me a massive favor. Hit that like button right now, subscribe to the channel for the fastest updates in the league, and comment your name and the city you are watching from so I can give you a shout out. Let's get right into the facts. I am reporting today on a significant development out of South Philadelphia following the Week 16 victory over the Washington Commanders. While the headline across the league is that the Philadelphia Eagles have officially clinched the NFC East title and secured their postseason berth, there is a developing story regarding the reliability of the kicking game that demands a deep dive. I have spent the morning analyzing the film and the post-game remarks from head coach Nick Sirianni, and the situation surrounding Jake Elliott is becoming one of the most scrutinized storylines as we head into the final stretch of the 2025 season. On Saturday at Northwest Stadium, the Eagles put together a dominant performance that, frankly, was more lopsided than the 29-18 final score suggested. Saquon Barkley was an absolute force of nature, logging 132 rushing yards on 21 carries. When you have a running back averaging 6.3 yards per carry and a defense that limits a divisional opponent to a mere 130 passing yards, you expect a clean victory. However, the performance of veteran kicker Jake Elliott provided the only significant blemish on an otherwise stellar afternoon. Elliott missed 2 field goals during the contest, one from 43 yards and another from 52 yards. While he remained perfect on extra points, going 3 for 3, the misses are part of a much larger and more concerning trend. I want to look at the numbers because they are staggering for a player of Elliott's caliber. Throughout the 2025 campaign, Elliott is just 17 of 24 on field goal attempts. That is a 70.8% conversion rate, which officially marks the lowest percentage of his professional career. To put that into perspective, we have to look back at the historical data. Just 1 year ago, in 2023, Elliott was arguably the best kicker in the National Football League. He converted 30 of 32 field goals for a 93.8% success rate, including a phenomenal 7 of 8 from beyond 50 yards. He has been the model of consistency since the Eagles signed him off the Bengals practice squad years ago, maintaining a career average of 83.5%. This sudden dip in production is statistically anomalous, and in a league where games are often decided by 3 points or less, it creates a massive tactical vulnerability for a team with Super Bowl aspirations. I asked around about the mechanics of these misses, and while the weather in Maryland was slightly chilly, it certainly wasn't the kind of extreme conditions that would justify a veteran missing from 43 yards out. Despite the external noise and the inevitable calls from the fan base to bring in competition or look at the free agent market for veteran kickers like Mason Crosby or younger legs on practice squads, Nick Sirianni was emphatic in his support during Monday's press conference. When asked directly if the team would be bringing in competition for Elliott to push him or provide a backup plan, Sirianni responded with a firm no. He stated, and I quote, "I have a lot of confidence in Jake. I love the roster the way it is, and like I said, I have a ton of confidence with Jake and that he'll rebound from whatever setbacks that he has." This is a classic Sirianni move, doubling down on his players and maintaining culture through loyalty. From a coaching philosophy standpoint, bringing in a street kicker in late December can often do more harm than good. It can destroy the confidence of your incumbent starter and lead to a carousel of inconsistency at the most important time of the year. However, the risk is that if Elliott misses a game winner in the divisional round or the NFC Championship, the decision to not provide competition will be the move that defines Sirianni's tenure this season. Let's look at the playoff landscape because the stakes couldn't be higher. The Eagles are currently 10-5. While they have the NFC East crown, the race for the number 1 seed and that crucial first-round bye is a chaotic mess. The Seattle Seahawks currently lead the pack at 12-3, while the Chicago Bears are sitting at 11-4 in the number 2 spot. We also have the San Francisco 49ers and the Los Angeles Rams at 11-4, both of whom are currently wildcards due to the Seahawks' lead in the NFC West. For the Eagles to climb the ladder, they mathematically need to win out against Buffalo and their final opponent while hoping for a total collapse from Seattle and at least one loss from the Bears, Rams, and 49ers. It is a long shot, but it is possible. Every single point matters in this scenario. If the Eagles find themselves in a tight game in Buffalo this weekend, a missed 40-yarder isn't just a stat line. It's the difference between a home game in January and a cross-country flight to Seattle or Santa Clara.
Tactically, the Eagles' offense under Kellen Moore has been designed to maximize Saquon Barkley's efficiency, which usually leads to long, sustained drives. When those drives stall inside the 30-yard line, the expectation is that you walk away with 3 points. When you lose those points, you lose the ability to dictate the flow of the game. If the opposing team knows your kicker is struggling, they might play more aggressive defense on third down, knowing you aren't a lock for a field goal. Conversely, it might force Sirianni to go for it on fourth and long situations where he would typically take the points. This ripple effect changes the entire mathematical probability of winning. From a financial and roster management perspective, Elliott is a significant investment. The Eagles rewarded him with a lucrative extension because of his history of clutch kicks, including that legendary 61-yarder against the Giants years ago. Cutting him or benching him isn't just a personnel move, it carries salary cap implications and affects the chemistry of the special teams unit, specifically the timing with long snapper Rick Lovato and holder Braden Mann. Looking ahead to the matchup in Buffalo, we are talking about one of the most difficult environments to kick in. High winds, freezing temperatures, and a raucous crowd. This will be the ultimate litmus test for Elliott. If he struggles in Buffalo, the pressure on Sirianni to pivot will become deafening. I personally believe that Elliott has the mental toughness to bounce back, but we cannot ignore the 70.8% reality. The Eagles are a Super Bowl caliber team with a dominant offensive line and a secondary that has finally found its rhythm, allowing only 130 passing yards last week. They are too good to be undone by the kicking game. We have seen how missed kicks have derailed seasons for teams like the Bears with the double doink or the Vikings in years past. The margin for error in the NFC is razor thin this year. I will be watching the practice reports closely this week to see if there are any mentions of mechanical adjustments or if special teams coordinator Michael Clay is changing anything in the operation. For now, the Eagles are standing pat. They are betting on the man who has won them so many games in the past. It's a high-stakes gamble by Nick Sirianni, but if it pays off and Elliott hits a game winner in the playoffs, it will be hailed as a masterclass in player management. If it fails, the questions will haunt this franchise all offseason. Stay tuned as I continue to monitor the injury reports and roster moves leading up to the Buffalo Showdown. This is one of those situations that can define a championship run.